Hey everyone, CJF Hotshot here, and you might have heard of a little Amazon Prime series that's really animated, really cool, very authentic to its source material, and that series is called Invincible. But, of course, I'm assuming if you watched this video, you've seen the entirety of Season 1 of the show, because there is spoilers for Season 1 of the show and the first arc of the Invincible book. Speaking of the Invincible book, hi, yes, I'm here to convince you to read that book. I know that the sales have had a spike since the show's come out, which is lovely. However, if you're still like hesitant on to get into the comics or just like you want to ride out the show, I'm here to convince you to read the comics to show that there is more demand for Invincible content. So, first of all, Invincible as a book series, it has finished. It has 144 issues, plus the Invincible Returns one-shot, and a few other things here and there. Throughout this, issues 1 through 14-ish are the first season of the show, as well as a few stuff from issues like 20-somethings. But the majority of the TV show so far is just from the first arc of 12. Well, I say 12, it's more than 12. Really, that's like 3 arcs, but you know, we're getting into semantics. And what we're going to see you're going to see throughout the rest of the book, make sure you read the first 14 issues first, obviously, just to see the differences between the show and a comic. But after you get past the barrier of Omni-Man beating Mark up, you'll get to see emotion. You'll get to see how Mark kind of deals with the loss of his father, how Debbie copes with the loss of her husband, how the world is reacting to Invincible being Omni-Man's son, how the Guardians of the Globe treat Mark, how these relationships develop over the course of 144 issues, which can span sometimes with Mark being in the right, and occasionally Mark being in the morally grey. Everyone in this book pretty much is in the morally grey at some point, except Deborah Grayson, it's so cool. You know, there's proper character development in this book. There is no such thing in Invincible as black and white. It'll seem like it from the beginning, but there's always a new perspective to take it. You also get relationships, family. Mark has a brother. That is all I can say. That is all I can say about new characters. Mark has a brother. And we get to see these relationships develop. Mark gets stronger. The world starts to distrust Mark. Even some of Mark's best friends distance themselves from him just because they fall out of touch. You know, and of course, the relationships that Mark has with Amber near the beginning, and towards the middle, another person who we've seen since pretty much the start of the book. And as we see their relationship develop, and we see it go tumultuous, we see them fight, we see them break up, we see them get back together, we see her get pregnant. But then they also see the miscarriage. It's so many heartwarming tales, and they never bother with a reset button. Instead, they bother with a time skip. This shit did happen to these people. However, Mark is always implanted in the middle of it. His life is a whirlwind, and you never see what's like up next. You need to be invested in it. And I feel like if you're already invested in the show, take a deep dive right in, because my God, you're not going to regret it. So please, this is my plea to you. If any of this sounds interesting to you, if you're invested in the TV show and are way too impatient for season 2 because it hasn't started production yet, now is the time to get the book. It's collected in multiple ways. There is 25 volumes of straight up trade paperbacks. These trade paperbacks, of course, are named after old sitcoms, except for very specific ones like the Viltrumite War. And like that's the first way you can get it. The second way you can get it, which is the way I got it, you can get it in 12 Ultimate Collections. These Ultimate Collections contain interviews with Robert Kirkman, Corey Walker, and Ryan Otley. Otley. Oh my god, the artwork in this book, by the way, gets so much better over time. That's because Ryan Otley is just a master with the pencil, and you'll get to see the colours evolve along with Ryan Otley's just line work. But yeah, you'll get to see interviews, sketches by Ryan Otley in the back. And also just a bunch of extra stuff in each of these individual Ultimate Collections, which, right, the regular trades collect about 5-6 issues. The Ultimate Collections collect 12 issues each. So yeah, that is like the big steal. The other big steal, which is technically the cheapest option if you just want to read it all, is the 3 big compendiums. They're not oversized, but there's about 47 issues a piece in each one, and you're bound to get a bang for your buck. You can just binge read as much of the art book as you want, and my god, you're gonna love every second of it. So yeah, this is my plea to you. Please read Invincible. It's really good. I promise, if you love the show, you'll love the book. You might even love the book more if you have a issue with a few certain particular characters that multiple people have had an issue with, because they're not there for most of the book. I know, spoilers. Amber's not in the Invincible book, but she plays much smaller role and is a bit different than in the show, both in terms of like character and personality. Amber's a bit more in the background. Yeah, Invincible's really good. Read the book. You're gonna love it. It's very actiony. It's very gory. Everything you've seen in the show, yeah, it starts to like dial up at about like issue 60 with the Invincible War, and it's just like, yeah. Go read Invincible. Go read it. Go read it all. Go read it all. There.